So the deal that was off yesterday is now apparently back on today. I can't keep up. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to your Forest transfer news. Coming up, I'm going to talk you through this whole hokey cokey in out, shake it all about with Diomande because it's getting to be an absolute mess. So make sure you've liked, make sure you're subscribed, make sure if you want the new home kit, it's out with OK jerseys. You can get it for £15 if you use code FFTV15, just like it says there. You get a further 15% off. So go get it. Scan the QR code. All right. Where do we start with this one? I'll be honest with you guys, right? I'm getting a bit fed up of this. I really want Diomande. I still really want him. But tell me in the comments, is this kind of taking the shine off it for you? Is this like, okay, if we do ever announce him, is it a case of, all right, cool, Diomande's there? Rather than had we announced it and done it 2 weeks ago, it would have been exciting and everything. It's still exciting, I know. But anyway, I'm blabbing. So there's been an update from Record Portugal, who I would say are probably tier 3, maybe tier 2.5. But I'm clutching here, right? And they've said that Sporting remain in talks with Forest over Diomande, with negotiations continuing at a slow pace. Now, what does that even mean? Let's break it down. I think that this deal has to get done because Diomande's not training. This is now hurting Forest more than it's hurting Sporting, if I'm being honest with you, because if we do end up getting Diomande, we probably won't see him till the second or third game, and then maybe not. And then there's that long international break, and then more of that shine is glazed off. I really want to see Milenkovic, Murillo, Diomande as a back three. But I've been doing some research, and the point of today's video is to tell you guys about Sporting. Yeah, I think I kind of was acting emotional yesterday. Maybe I wasn't woo-saring enough. But Sporting traditionally are a real pain in the backside to deal with, especially with Premier League clubs. There's a few examples I want to talk you through just to show you how annoying they can be. So, for example, in 2023, Pedro Porridge currently at Spurs, was at Sporting. He had a transfer obviously go through between them, but there was a similar saga going on. So Sporting had agreed with Spurs the £39 million fee, and this was a January transfer. And on the 30th of January, 24 hours before the deadline, it broke off. The Sporting presidents reneged on the deal, and Porro was left crying like he usually does when Spurs lose. In the end, Spurs had to renegotiate on transfer deadline and agreed to cover Sporting's financial costs for the transactions and the fees and everything else to finalise the deal before it went through. Sound familiar? And then go back further. When Varchester United signed Marco Rojo, there was they'd agreed 16 million or 15 million pounds around that time. And then that hit a roadblock because of ownership complaints on the players and rights and all these things. Rojo then went on strike, and then in the end, I think they got Veron to step in and mediate it and everything else. Sticking with Manchester United, when Bruno Fernandes left from Sporting to Manchester United, this was back in 2020, it was a similar thing. They'd agreed a £55 million fee around that figure, and then Man U got wind that Sporting were desperate for money. So after they'd agreed a fee, Man U reduced it down to like 42 million or something and said, you're desperate for money, we're not paying that. That didn't go down well with Sporting. And in the end, I think the agent was Mendes, if I remember rightly. And he was able to persuade them. And then they built all these add-ons and brought the fee back up to like £48 million. Plus add-ons, plus all kinds of other crap. And then if you look at last season, you got Gyökeres from Sporting to United. He had a gentleman's agreement because he had a release clause, I think, of 100 million euros or something like that. And he had a gentleman's agreement that he could leave for 70 million or whatever the figure was. They went back on their deal with him, the gentleman's agreement. And then obviously it dragged on with Arsenal and the negotiations and everything. And in the end, because Sporting dug their heels in so much, Gyökeres went on strike. What you found was that the agent basically said, all right, fine, I won't take my fee. And that will save Sporting some money and we can get this deal over the line. So there's plenty of other examples as well, specifically with Premier League clubs, but those are kind of the main headline ones. So I'm starting to think, are Forest's facing a similar thing when it comes to Sporting and the way they like to do business? And suddenly they, you know, after agreeing a fee, suddenly, because what we're hearing now is that although both clubs were close at 40 million euros, there's rumours and reports now to say that Sporting want it more around the 50 million euro mark, be that with add-ons, be that up front, etc., etc. So maybe Forest are being, what's the word I'm looking for here? Just strung along for a ride. But I still think what I said yesterday runs true. I think Marinakis just needs to get involved in this one. I think he needs to pick up the phone and say, look, Diomande, we want him. This is our offer. Take it or leave it. You got no other offers on the table. The guy doesn't want to play for you. He wants to play for us. I'm going to hang up the phone now and you got 30 seconds to make your decision and call me back. You know, and that might get it over the line. But I'm not as angry as I was yesterday. But I just, Sporting, like when you look at them, just a pain in the backside. They really are. They're like the Spurs of the Portuguese league, maybe. I don't know. So look, that's where it is now. I don't think anyone really knows what's happening who's outside of the negotiation circles. They're seeing all kinds of reports, rumours and everything flying around. To be honest, this whole transfer window, not just for Forest, but in general across the Premier League, has been a very closed circle. A lot of people I'm talking to involved in other clubs and stuff are saying the same thing. Like the leaks and everything is tightening up. You're seeing wars breaking out between Romano and Pletti and all those so-called tier ones over, you know, Diomande, not this Diomande, but the other Diomande. So this has been a very fascinating but slow transfer market. Build into that as well, we've had the World Cup. Build into that Forest changed the dynamics of the market because of what we charged Man City for Elliot Anderson, or you could say what Man City paid for Elliot Anderson changed it, whichever perspective you want. That's kind of slowed down where clubs aren't willing to spend some of the money. And then, of course, everyone knows that Forest now have that Anderson money. So, in conclusion to all of this, I want to know what you guys think. Does this one get through? My gut feeling is still the same as yesterday. I think a deal will be done. I think it will be still around the 40 million euro mark. I think Marinakis will get his way. The question is, will it be like those other previous deals from Sporting where some of them went to transfer deadline day to get things over the line? Or will someone step in like in the Gyökeres deal and say, look, I'll take the hit on this million here or this million there to just get it through? Get your thoughts in on all of it below. But the reports are this isn't dead in the water. It's still gonna continue. I'm so bored of talking about this one. Make sure you checked out OK Jerseys. Use code FFTV for 15% off. Make sure you've liked and subscribed. And hopefully at some point we'll see you for a Here We Go. Come on, you Reds.